But let's get started. Y'all ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuned into Apartment 5B. Nah, I done messed up already. All right. All day at Six Flags got me wrong. All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuned into Apartment 5B.
Hey, we off air.
We off air? It say live. It say off air for you?
See live for me.
It say live.
Live.
Yeah, I think we should be good. Yeah, because it say live on my end.
Okay.
All right, let's try and go with it. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuned into Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad up here in effect with me tonight. I got my man DJ Rec One on tour, just getting back from San Antonio. I didn't even think he was gonna be in the show. You see the boxes in the background. What's going on, DJ Rec One?
And man, came straight to the little studio in the garage trying to get it set up. So I'm ready, man. I'm here.
All right, that's what it is. I got my brother JR. What's going on, fam?
What's going on?
Everything is everything, man. The Knicks. Love your representation, bro.
Next, don't start.
I ain't messing with you tonight. I got my man Crazy Fingers in the crib. What's up, fam?
What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody?
Everything is good. Everything is good. I got Vegas, my brother in rhyme, same birthday, Aries, working on a new project right now. What's going on, Veg?
What up, man?
Hey, man, I'm excited, man. Yo, I got a Veg verse in the email this week, man. It's like finding a Dilla beat tape laying around. So we good, man. We good. Yeah. What's good with you, Yao G's?
What up, man? You know, just being a Knicks fan and rapping. Those are what I'm doing.
All right, no doubt. Now look, this is what we're gonna chop it up with tonight. For people who don't know, me and Veg have done 3 albums. This dude has been rhyming since I met him back in Morgan. And last week he had sent me an article from Complex about 3000, Andre 3000. He basically was just talking about how he never wanted to be the 50-year-old dude rhyming anymore and everything like that. And I got into a conversation with Ev about him seeing, and he was just like, yo, and we've all said this before, but Ev started taking it a step further. It was like, why has there always been an age limit on hip hop, especially MCing? You know, and he was saying that if you're a 40-year-old, really anybody over 35 years old and an MC, if you tell somebody that, they almost look down on you. Like, yo, you a rapper? Like, you still trying to get a deal? Like, what, you want me to listen to the demo? But Ed was like, yo, but let me say I'm a poet. It's a whole nother thing. You know, you could be out with a shorty and be like, yo, I'm a poet. She'd be like, oh, can you read me some poetry? You know what I mean? But it was the difference between being an MC and a poet. You know what I mean? You know, shorty may get her homegirls to come out to see your poetry slam. You know what I mean? But she ain't getting her homegirls to come out and see you perform at SOBs. You know what I mean? And opening up your button. So, but why is that? Why doesn't 3000 want to be the 50-year-old rapper? Because in any other art form, that doesn't happen. My mother's a jazz musician. She's played on people's albums, but she ain't no, McCoy Tyner. She ain't no Herbie Hancock. But nobody's going in my crib in Philly talking about, yo, why you still got this piano in here? Like, why you still got these saxophones? Like, nobody, when Robert De Niro's like 98 in a new movie, nobody's like, yo, this nigga again? Like, yo, why? Oh, so why is it in hip hop at 35 you can't keep rapping? So the first thing I wanted to do, I got 3 MCs with me today. Yao G, Vegas, and my man Theo. Number one, I want to talk to y'all real quick. What made y'all start MCing in the first place? I mean, we all love hip hop. Y'all could have been producers, DJs, breakers, graph artists, whatever. What was it about MCing that pulled y'all in the first place? Theo, this is your first time being on here for a minute, so let's start with you. What is it? Where did your love for MCing come from in the first place?
Well, mine pretty much came from not necessarily the music I was listening to, but I had quite a few cousins that rap, and the action of rapping and that, I got inspired by them. But aside from that, I always was writing, and that's just natural. I never written poetry or anything like that. I've just always been writing rhymes since I was probably about 17, 18, and that just was a natural progression. So for me, it was just something to stay in. Also therapy, just writing.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Yao?
Similar. Just the stuff I was listening to. Like, I always told y'all that, rap in my house was forbidden for like my whole childhood. So like when I got to high school, you know, my homie had played me a couple tapes, you know what I'm saying? Bone Thugs, he played me some Big L, he played me some Big. You know, I started just getting involved. And probably when I was like 17, wrote my first rhyme, 17, and then just like I said, natural progression. I kind of fell in love with it. People telling you nice, you know, you should keep it rolling, you know. It gasses you a little bit. You feel like you got something to prove. So just kept writing, and then here I am.
All right.
16 years later, still rapping. You know what I mean?
And Veg, what about you?
For me, most of like my father and my brother were DJs, so I was already a hip hop fan. There was a point where I wanted to rhyme, but you know, just didn't know how to start, didn't know where to begin. And then one time, like me and my sister was fucking around in the crib, like, you know, we gonna write some rhymes. And like I think I got a bar down, and I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would never could get that far, and it just kind of steamrolled into me writing. But you know, it was something that most kids wanted to do because you looked up to certain rappers. But once I learned how to actually write rhymes and bars and recorded stuff and stuff like that, like at the age of 14, then I was doing it all the time, every day, all day.
All right. Yo, real quick, is Veg breaking up on anybody else's screen, or is it just mine?
Yeah, he's breaking
Breaking up on mine.
Yeah, man.
Can you do me a favor? Try to log off and log back on, because every time I click on you, it's like it's a crazy screen.
Choppy. All right.
Yeah, man, because we gotta stop this, man. We gotta stop people from retiring out of hip hop, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then I will come in with Ab's bigger piece. That's the man. He wants us to retire. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think the art form just isn't respected like the other ones is.
Right.
So it's another way to control it. You figure if they're young, they don't know what the hell is going on, you can control them a little bit better than somebody that sees
I think it comes the mantra, like, I don't know, people when they hear rap, you're a rapper, they automatically go to what they see on television.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Automatically. You know, for what it is. Oh, you're a rapper, so you must rap like this.
Right.
You know, there's different genres of rap basically at this point, you know what I mean? So,
and then the other thing is that you got the situation. Hold it, Veg, back. Yeah, you good, Veg, you good. So what we gonna do? We gonna if you could just explain why you started rapping again. I'll edit it up later. So you could just start with why you got in the rap and everything.
Well, yeah, like I said, my brother and my father were DJs, you know what I'm saying? So I was already into the whole hip hop thing. I wanted to be a DJ. I did DJ for a while. But then messing around with my sister one day, you know, we was like, we want to write rhymes. I was around 14 years old, you know what I'm saying? And once I wrote a rhyme, you know, I was just ecstatic, you know what I'm saying? Because I always wanted to do that. And it just stumbled into obsession where, you know, every day from there on, I was just writing because, you know, I was a big hip hop fan, and now I'm able to write my own rhymes instead of just listening to the rhymes of others. You know what I'm saying? It was the best thing in the world, you know what I'm saying? Not better than singing. If I could sing instead of rapping, I'd take that shit in.
I feel you. I feel you on that. I always said, man, if I could be a singer, man, like Bag and Morgan, I remember one time I was on campus, this dude was like, yo, do you sing? I was like, nah, man, I wish I did. Like, I've had people come up to me like, yo, do you sing? Like, man, I wish I could, but I wouldn't even be. If I could sing, it'd be a rap. It wouldn't. But Veg, now here's the thing, bro, because I've been asking you for a while. The thing that I heard was just how excited you was when you wrote your first rhyme. Bro, why are you calling it a day? We're 3 albums deep. We need another one. We can't stop it, bro. We ain't got no beef. I ain't have you robbed. We ain't had no issues. We ain't have problems on tour. Now is not the time to stop rhyming. Why don't you want to rhyme anymore? And does it have anything to do with the stigma? Because I think that's a huge thing. There's a stigma on MCs over 35, damn sure over 40. So why are we calling it a day, bro?
Well, I'm not officially calling it a day for real. Like I said, you know, I'm down for a song or a verse, a feature, things of that nature. For me, the whole project thing was what I was getting a little fatigued from, because, you know, I know we got 3 albums, but again, I've been rapping since I was 14. So I've been making my own albums since I was 14, with stopping pause tapes and taking beats and looping them and coming up with songs and concepts and shit like that. And I think I kind of reached a point where I feel like I kind of got off a lot of the things that I wanted to do conceptually. A lot of what I used to write was based off of inspiration. You know what I'm saying? I hear somebody else shit, be like, damn, that was hot, but what if I was on it? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that would keep me going. But honestly, it's a little bit of inspiration, but it's also the fact that I just do other shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just gotten to the point where it was an itch I need to scratch when we were doing our joints and some of the other stuff I was doing. But it was never a priority for me. You know what I'm saying? The whole radio thing was kind of my priority because, of course, I get paid to do it. But there were other things that I just wasn't doing as much as I was doing with the rap and shit. So it's not necessarily the game itself or one particular thing that made me feel like I don't feel like doing it. And it's definitely not the age, because, you know, we have many examples of dudes who are older still putting out dope music. And, you know, and some of that shit inspires me also. But I never felt like I was too old to rap, because I think that's starting to change.
Okay.
That was a thing, you know, back in the day, but now I think hip hop is old enough now where some of that shit age doesn't matter as long as your shit is hot and it speaks to whomever. So
now here's the thing. Now let me ask a question for this, because Rec, I'm gonna get to you, because you being a DJ, I want to kind of talk about all aspects of hip hop. But here's the thing: do you think it's harder if you're a new MC trying to get on? Like, I agree with you. I don't think there's a problem if we get a new Raekwon, a new AZ, if we get somebody who's already been on or somebody who already has a discography. But being a somewhat unknown MC as far as to the masses, you think it's harder for them? I know MCs who are actually embarrassed to tell people they MC, because they're like, I don't want the stigma. People are gonna be like, oh, you trying to get a record deal? No, I don't want to buy your song on Bandcamp. You know, it's almost like you become a panhandler on the train as soon as somebody finds out you MC. So I think that that's sad, because again, I don't know any other, if you're a painter or you're an artist, I don't know anybody else who is like, oh no, I'm embarrassed to say I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm an actor, I'm an actress. It's only coming down to hip hop. I don't even think people are embarrassed to say they're DJs or producers, but it's something about MCing. And I don't know if that's because as producers and DJs, we make money. Not saying that MCs don't make money, but it may be the stigma that without a record deal, y'all don't make money. Rec may make money doing parties, doing weddings, doing mixtapes. I could sell beats all day on Twitter and make money. I think it's just the stigma behind that. Yeah, what do you think, being an MC? Because you and Vegas are almost on the polar opposites, because you're like on your grind 100%, you know, pedal to the floor going at it. You know what I mean? And like Vegas said, it's also the inspiration. You know, because I know a lot of MCs who are like, well, when we was at Morgan, I was in cyphers every day. You know, I was around a whole bunch of other MCs. That made me want to get my skills better. I don't have that inspiration anymore. I'm married. My wife really don't like me being in the studio, whatever. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Like, what has you on your grind right now?
I mean, listen, I'm 35 years old. You know what I'm saying? And if you've dealt with the struggles of trying to get on in rap and try to get people, even to try to get people to listen to your music is a task. You know what I mean? No matter how nice you are, no matter how skilled you are, no matter what your personality is, no matter how much you know people. I remember when I first dropped my first album, and there was a person who told me, like, seriously, when you said that shit, I was immediately turned off. I was like, you know what? Another rapping ass nigga. But then when I listened to the album, that's just what it is. Because not only that, but the game is so fun to me. And I always say this. And I don't think this is said enough. I feel like so not everybody has ever tried to like play guitar. Not everybody's tried to play an instrument. Not everybody's tried to like produce a beat. But I feel like 90% of the people in the world, whether it be in a playful manner or however, have tried to write an 8-bar verse. My name is, and I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure 90% of the population in the world has tried one of those. So when you do that, it turns into like a snowball effect where people start to think that like people are giving them like, you know, accolades and like, oh, I think you're pretty good, and giving some encouragement. That turns into, I have a mixtape. And that's when it turns into, listen to my mixtape. And that's when we had the oversaturation of underground artists trying to like get their mixtape heard. That doesn't really happen with any other genre. But at the same time, I feel like, yo, if I'm nice, I'm nice. If I have these bars that I got to deliver and I feel like, yo, somebody gonna think this is hot, somebody has to hear it. You know what I mean? We all fall into the stage of not wanting to do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just so frustrating. But I'll never forget it. When I was 23, I graduated college. I was getting ready to go work at ESPN full time. You know, I was probably the best rapper at my college. I was at a barbecue, and my homie was like, yo, what's good? I'm saying, hey, you about to go work at ESPN and all that? What's up with the rapping? And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do it no more. I got my full-time job. I'm pretty much, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much set. Because people, at that time, you know, getting a full-time job out of college was a little bit of an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? People weren't getting them shits. You know what I'm saying? So I got mine, Fortune 500 company, in my field of study, something I wanted to do. I was like, you know what? Fuck rap. But he said something to me in that day. I don't know why I always remember it. He's always like, yo, dog, whatever you do, don't stop writing, yo. Don't stop writing. Whatever it is, because you never know what that shit could turn into. And then I stopped, picked it back up, put an album out, stopped for a little bit, kept writing. That turned into me getting, you know, a gig on ESPN with some FaceTime, you know what I mean? A poetry series on ESPN. So it was just like, you know, that kind of just always stays in my mind, like, yo, just keep writing, because you just never know what it's going to lead to, you know what I mean? So that's what kind of keeps me going. I have my issues, you know, just, I don't feel like doing it. I sat here at one point for 6 months and didn't write anything because I just wasn't feeling anything that I was writing. But then you come with a couple bars, it starts developing into something, to a verse, starts developing to a project, and you feel like, yo, somebody got to hear this shit. It doesn't even matter who it is. Somebody has to hear it, and somebody has to be at least have some type of emotion evoked from it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that keeps me going as far as why I still do it.
All right. Theo, what about you, fam? You're putting out your joints. You're a producer and an MC. So what keeps you writing? You know, because I know you do the beats too, but as far as writing, like, what keeps you kind of doing that?
Yeah, it's pretty much like the same thing y'all was saying. It's like you just never know what it'll turn into. So, and again, for me, it's another therapeutic way of just letting things out. Putting out projects. I'm sitting on so many projects that it's like, you know, while I put them out, I get that because the game is so oversaturated, and you have everyone thinking they can rap, and everybody can say whatever, but no one is really saying anything. I think we had this conversation before this, me and you, Kill, about there are things that need to be said, especially for people in our age group, with real life situations. No one's really touching on those issues, and that's another reason why I just keep on doing it. At this point, it's like the money is going to probably come, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I'm still going to keep doing it.
All right. Now, one of the things that Vague said that got me was inspiration, you know, because I understand that that's a huge thing. You know, I think I'm similar to Vegas in a way that I used to, me and my people, Sha and Bezo, they used to do beats, and Sha would get inspired when he would hear whack hip hop because it made him feel like he had to come in and make a dope beat to save the day. And I was the exact opposite. I was like, that shit don't inspire me because I know my shit is good, so whatever. What inspires me is when I would hear an Alchemist beat and it just left me scratching my head. Like, yo, how the fuck did he do that? That's what inspires me. So when I don't hear a lot of dope beats that really push me, there are times that I'll go, you know, 2 and 3 weeks without making a beat. But tell me this, Yao, what inspires you? Like, how do you get inspiration? Because, again, I'm assuming you being in college. I know at Morgan in the 90s, there was always a cypher. You know, me and Vague did strictly hip-hop up at EAA. There was always an overabundance of us getting hip-hop, stuff that hadn't come out yet. You hear stuff on tapes. You know, your man is coming back from up top with a tape. You know, you don't have that inspiration anymore. You know, yeah, you're engaged. Vegas, you're married. Theo, you're married. You know, Rec, you're married. I'm married. We're not hanging in the clubs all the time. We're not always. So where do you have to be inspired to make dope stuff, yeah? Or are you good being in, you know, your box or whatever you would call it, and still being able to put out great content? Because I feel what Vega is saying, because I don't want them to keep rhyming if you're not inspired, and then the content isn't what it should be. And then again, the other thing that I think Vega and Yao have in common, for people who haven't heard this stuff, is they're very conceptual. They're not just rapping to rap. You know, so I get what Vegas saying, like, yo, it takes a lot of time to put these ideas together and, you know, make them fit good. So, yeah, where do you get your inspiration from to continue to push forward like this? Is it the things, because you've had the ESPN piece, you know, set off NFL Live, you know, on ESPN. So you've had the FaceTime. You just did the Twitter thing with the playoffs. So you're taking steps. Is it the steps that keep you moving? Would you think you'd be in the same place of recording if those things hadn't happened and you hadn't taken those steps?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like, here's what always happens. Like, I always have a lull. I don't think necessarily a writer's block, or just you're just not feeling what you're writing. I mean, I got tons of rhymes that I go through and I'll be like, yo, I just don't feel like rapping it. But if somebody else to read it, they'd be like, that's hot. You know what I mean? So, as far as being inspired, though, I would say that once I got that gig from Twitter, it kind of like re-energized my juices. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to come up with something that was like, they gave me a topic to write about. I wrote about it. But then once you start to get in that mode, it's hard to get out of, because you're just constantly thinking of ways to express yourself through rhyme in different ways. And like I said, it got my juices going. It could be anything. It could be life in general. But for me, whenever I think of something that might be like tough, or a concept that might be like a great concept, I'll write it down and just see where it goes. If it doesn't take me where it needs to go, it'll sit there for a little while and I'll come back to it. But something that keeps me inspired, because I know listen, everybody knows when they're dope. There's people who think they're dope and people who know they're dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a difference, and I know I'm dope. So I can't just sit on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit on this creativity. Somebody else has got to hear it, and that's what keeps me going, because it's like you just never know what's going to happen from it. So it's just like, you know what? Write it, see what happens. Record it, see what happens. See who likes it. See whose hands it gets in, and then go from there. You never know what can happen.
All right. Now tell me this, y'all. Give them some of your stuff, because I don't want them to have to wait till the end of the show to constantly get your stuff. So just do a quick plug. Tell them where they can see some of the NFL Live stuff, the Twitter stuff, Bandcamp, all that real quick.
Yeah, my name is Yao. My name is Yao G's. I go by Yao Music as well. I have put an album out a couple years ago called Hump Day, which is an album all about relationships and the interaction between male and female, and different aspects of that going through. You can find that on yaomusic.bandcamp.com. I have done some stuff with ESPN. I've done some stuff with Bleacher Report, some spoken word poetry based things. I had a 2-year stint with ESPN. I did a series of poetry pieces. I just did a piece for Bleacher Report for the NFL draft, NBA draft rather, and I did the NBA playoff poem for NBA TV on Twitter. Twitter has a show called The Wrap Up, with air every Thursday prior to the nationally televised game, and I had the intro for the playoffs for the whole year. I got some other projects coming along. I got an album coming out that's going to have 2 producers that are here on this panel. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a dope joint. It's called Leave My Tab Open, and look out for that. I'll probably drop in a freestyle in a couple of weeks, so I'll let y'all know about that. That's pretty much it. Hit me at Yao Music, YAW Music on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, now, Brett, here's the thing. You're a DJ. Do you feel like that same stigma is put on DJs, like you're too old to DJ? And if not, why?
I mean, I don't think it's put on DJs, but I think DJs put it on themselves. Like, I just linked up with a DJ on the south side of Houston, and this guy's a little bit older than me, but it's in his heart. Like, you can tell, like, there's no age with this cat, man. This cat is playing any and everything. He's able to do what any young kid, or it's almost as if he doesn't put age on what it is. I think it's a personal thing, because you look at Red Alert. Red Alert is what, 70? Somewhere in that range, and he's still spinning. I don't think it has anything to do with age. I think more so It has to do with how you feel, your body, because you know it's not like with rappers. You get in the booth, you get out the booth, you perform for an hour or two, and you can go recuperate. Most of the time when you're doing a party, man, it's just you, and you DJing that party for 5, 6, 7 hours. You're standing up, you know, you're moving, your back is killing you. If you come from the age that we came from, you got crates. So I mean, it just all depends, man. Some people they in it for the long haul, and some they don't stay in for the long haul. I think they in it for the wrong reasons. You got guys get in, get out, get the money, and move on. They just don't stay with the culture aspect of it. They use it as a foothold, and they get out of it. They try to find other ways or other avenues to make money within it, but still call themselves DJs. I mean, right. That's what I'm seeing right now. I don't see those guys like, you know, Red Alert that's still around. You know, you still got Chuck Chill Out. You still got guys that's doing parties, but I think with this day and this generation of DJs, we're not going to see that. I just don't think that they're in it for the long haul. I think they're in it for the fame or whatever fame they can try to get out of it. And once they get to a point to where they don't have to be in the clubs, or they get to a point to where they can spin arenas or festivals, they're not going to be in it for the same reasons that we're still in it. Right. I just don't think it has an age limit. I just think that people don't look to stay in it long.
Okay. All right. And Veg, like I said, you come up with these conceptual albums and everything like that. Right now, being married, 2 sons, do you think because a lot of MCs may fall back from MCing is because they're not in it the way that we used to be? You know what I mean? Like when we were at Morgan, like walking across the bridge was a hip hop moment. You know what I'm saying? There was inspiration in the dorm room. There was inspiration when I'm sure you went back to Brooklyn for the summer. There was always inspiration with new music. Being married with kids now, do you even find that you have any inspiration like that?
Yeah, I think when I was back at Morgan, all that did, as far as being around a lot of hip hop fans and the MCs and producers, all that did was keep me writing every day. But then I got to a point, like I used to write because like you say, you know, just keep writing, make sure you got verses, because I didn't know when I was going to be on, I don't know, be up in somebody's studio and they, you know, put me on a mic. So I wanted to have a lot of shit. But then I got to a point, as I got a little bit older and I got married, even though I got married at a young age, I just got to a point where I didn't necessarily have to write all the time to stay sharp, because I had done it so much that, you know, when I needed the inspiration, I could crank out I wanted, because the ideas and they were all in my head on books and stuff like that. But when you think about now, when I'm older, I got 2 kids, I got a job, house, and all that shit, it's still no difference for me. The only difference is, again, I'm not writing all the time, but when the inspiration strikes me, you know, I could write anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I could be on a train, I could be right here in my garage. You know what I'm saying? I could be anywhere and crank it out, because I kind of know what I want to do. So it's kind of easy to get it out. And a lot of times, you know, like with some of the stuff I was doing with you, like if you sent me a beat and I felt like that beat to me to write something right now, I wouldn't get out of that moment at a song. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt good about that, because then I could go and do all the other shit, because I got that out my system. Writing a couple of bars here and then going doing some chores and going to work. So it just got to a point where I wasn't writing for sport like I used to. I was more so writing as an artist, you know what I'm saying? Trying to create something that somebody could listen to and just say like, yo, that shit was tight on a number of levels, as opposed to it just being, you know, some cipher verses.
Right. What about you, Theo? What keeps you inspired to keep writing and keep pushing yourself to put out projects? Like, do you need the inspiration of hearing dope MCs, or, you know, are you just good with where you are with your life?
It's a bit of both. I still listen to, honestly, a lot of early 2000s and 90s hip hop. I mean, to get my inspiration at times, and the rest of it is just life. Like, I look at my family, wife, my daughter, and my son, and, you know, what's going on right now. Like, what's going on today alone is more than enough stuff to get inspired about and write about. And that's what keeps me going. As far as with beats, though, like if I hear whack ass beats, it's like, yo, I'm dope. I know my shit is dope. You know, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but that keeps me in the studio banging out beats. Like there's so much whack shit out here.
All right, so you the opposite. Whack shit motivates you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, whack shit don't motivate me. Like I'm the total opposite. Like, I gotta somebody do something that be like, yo, how did he do this? Okay, let me, you know. And I think that's the thing from when albums come out and people are like, you know, or like when people, you know, are like, yo, you don't like Ninth. It's not that I don't like Ninth. It's just that Ninth doesn't push me to want to make a beat. You know what I'm saying? There's no like just listen to Alchemist, the new joint he got out, The Good Book. Like I'm listening to that, like, yo, I gotta make some beats, you know, or something like that. So that's my inspiration. But let's try to get to this point of why is it just hip hop? Why is this nowhere else in any art form? Why is nobody else looked down upon? In fact, it's almost like the people who are revered are the older people. You know, my uncle's a bass player. When I was in Philly, I love talking music with him and my mom. And I said, you know, I'm talking to him. I'm like, yo, we were going back and forth about who's the dopest bass player. And he brought up somebody's name I never heard of. He's like, look him up on YouTube. This dude got to be like 85. You know what I mean? And he's killing the bass. He's playing everything. This bass company made a bass specifically for him just to try out. And, you know, my uncle was just looking at him like in such awe, you know. But why is that? Why do we revere the older people in every other art form? If you're an up and coming actor, you would kill to work with Robert De Niro. You would kill to work with Pacino. You would kill to work with, you know, these artists that are older. So why is it in hip hop that we're the only people who have the age limit on us? Vegas, what do you think? We'll start with you.
It's funny because I actually started a article that I'm trying to get published about some of this stuff. You know, this is very big for the most part. The way I look at it is hip hop is compared to other art forms, and hip hop is probably the only art form where we got a bunch of rules. We want to call it art, but most art don't have rules. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more about what you create, you know what I'm saying? And how you push that further. But we got rules like, you know, no biting, no ghostwriting, no, you can't do this without this, and you can't be 40 and rapping. When we were growing up and hip hop was extremely young, damn near all of the legends that people look at today, like a young cat who listen or watch this podcast or whatever, some of these dudes, a lot of them got on as teenagers. A lot of these classics were recorded when teenagers. Like Illmatic, Nas was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? And when they, you know, when the culture was advanced between the lyrics advancing with each era or whatever, or each phase, we would discard for that. You know what I'm saying? We always say, like, Rakim came out with a new style. Who the fuck wanted to hear Curtis Blow anymore? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the Nas's and the Biggies and the Wu-Tangs and all of that. So then Kane and Rakim and Slick Rick and all them niggas kind of became O's. But now I see we're getting to a point where, at least with certain artists, and unfortunately not all of them, cherish them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like a Jay-Z or a Nas, yeah, or whatever. And some of it is to their credit because they remained relevant throughout the years in some regard. But I think it's just the fact that so many standards that we put on these artists that, you know, unfortunately, a lot of them get left in the dust, and we'll remember them and be like, yeah, Run DMC was this, that, and this, that was this. Because, like, even like when I and shit about running into these guys, especially the ones where I ran into them when I was a little bit older, like seeing J. Rue the Damager, like, well after albums, and just seeing him roll up on a bike in Brooklyn in the bodega while I was in there, and I'm just looking like, who gives a shit that this dude is. This is J. Rue the Damager. He had a lot of dope ass runs, and I the bodega and nobody blinked but me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where I think it's just a stigma that us as fans and some of the artists placed on hip hop, where we don't respect it like dudes respect, you know, Rolling Stones selling out a stadium. Like, they cherish them dudes, and they could barely fucking stand up to play the instrument. You know what I'm saying? But that stadium is packed. But on our side, and a lot of times it's not even just a younger generation. It's just kind of older dudes who I know, and I might be like, yo, I'm making music. And they'll be like, really? He ain't got shit else to do. You know? The bad stigma that's, you know, on hip hop regardless, that we just got to get over that shit and accept the MC8 put out an album, Kool G Rap put out an album. They don't sound bad, so what the fuck?
And I think the thing is too, because I feel you on the rules, but I feel like that's a rule that we didn't come up with. Like, we came up with, you know, with all those rules, but growing up, like I've said this before, I thought Kane was my age. You know, when if I'm 14, Kane was probably 24. You know what I mean? Or I had no idea how old Guru was until he died. I was like, God damn, that.
Yep, I didn't know he was that old. I really didn't.
No idea how old Guru was. I didn't know Chuck D was like damn near 30 when he was putting out It Takes a Nation.
I didn't know that either.
So that is definitely not no rule that was like hip hop giving that, like, yo, after this age. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have been rocking with Chuck. We wouldn't have been rocking with Guru. We wouldn't have been rocking with none of those dudes. So again, I'm gonna give Ev's philosophy on why it came up later, but I want to definitely hear from everybody else. JR, why do you think you're the R&B guru? Nobody cares about that to me in R&B. You know what I mean? But, but what I'm saying is, as far as new people trying to get on, you know, because again, the legends can always do a show. We can always get a show. We can always get Frankie Beverly and Mays.
Right.
But I'm talking about somebody new trying to come up in the game. And I've always defined it like this. Like, it was always like, can I walk into Tower Records and pick up a CD I produced? That's the way back in the day we would dictate if you're on or not. Like, before the whole band and all of that, it was like, can I walk into Sam Goody, Tower Records, my record store, wherever I go to, and pick up your CD? That would dictate if you're on or not. So do you think it's the same thing with R&B? Like, if you're R&B, if I'm an R&B dude trying to get on at 43, do you think I'm going to be looked down upon? Or, you know, why or why not?
They already going to put you into a category already before then. So it's like, once they know the age already, they're going to put you onto that adult contemporary already. So you're already going to be categorized. So, but the younger ones, they already going to be like, oh, we can get another Chris Brown. We can get another Trey Songz. We can get another this. We can get another that. But that's what they want. That's what the masses want. But you try to come in at, you know what I'm saying, even try to come in at like 35, they're going to be like, oh, nah, we're going to put him with Will Downing, and we're going to put him with all these other ones. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to already be categorized. So it's a little in R&B, but it's not as bad when it comes to hip-hop. It's horrible, but with R&B, it's not as bad, but they already categorize you by your age. So,
and the funny thing is, when you say one of Chris Brown's, like, at 43, I ain't dancing like Chris Brown.
Right, exactly.
I ain't got none of that.
And then you ain't sounding like, and then you're not gonna sound as like a goat like Trey Songz either. So,
right. Now here's the thing. Something you made me think, because in R&B they always are trying to make you younger. Like, it was always like trying to make Beyonce younger than what she was. Like, so like you said, it is an R&B, but it's not as bad. It's
not as bad. It is. It's there, but it's not as bad as hip hop. It's like, yeah, you could still try to get on at like 45 and be singing, and that's it. But you're gonna get categorized. But as far as hip hop, I don't think people want to see a 45-year-old spitter, and I think that's bad. But
right now, Veg, what you got?
Yeah, just one thing on the age thing, because I think it relates. I think there's a difference between if you know that a person is a certain age versus someone.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you don't. Somebody like you or Eminem, who were when they popped, they were damn near 30, if not 30.
Yep.
Eminem, but he didn't look it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look like to some people. So nobody really cared about that. But yeah, like if you are R&B singer and this is your debut album, like I'll say this: like we know Charlie Wilson been around for a long time.
Hey, I swear I was gonna mention Charlie Wilson. Go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
Right.
Yeah. Like we know he been around for a while. I ain't even gonna lie. I was just like, I don't want to hear that shit that nigga got to say. It's too old. What you talking about? Nah, I'll say this. Kill, I got a quick story real quick. It's not bad.
Right. Wait 1 sec. Wait 1 sec. I got my man Penny who just came in. What's going on, fam?
What's good?
All right, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
What's good?
Oh, what's good? Yeah, you good? Yeah.
For me?
Nah,
all right.
Penny, you good?
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let y'all chop it up so I could catch up from.
Yeah, you breaking up a little bit. Like we can't hear you all the way. All right, Veg. You can finish your story though, Veg.
All right. So working at EAA, Charlie Wilson came through for an interview.
All right.
Not with me, but with Bassman at WEAA. So, you know, I was doing the old school show on there, and I was like, yo, I'm going to get a drop because, you know, I'm playing the Gap Band and all that old school shit. And I ain't even going to front. We walked down the hall. Remember when R. Kelly? I know the timing is bad, but remember when R. Kelly, like when he had Step in the Name of Love and he was kind of like had that Zorro look and shit with the long ass coat.
Yeah, the cape and the fucking shit on his eyes.
Yeah, well, nigga, Charlie Wilson came in with damn near the same outfit bag under the hat, and I was like, you know, Bass was like, yeah, he got a solo album, and I was thinking to myself and looking at him like, I don't want to hear that shit. This old nigga with the do-rag over his ears and shit. He didn't even know how to wear the do-rag. So I said all that to say this. I understand what JR is saying. You know, if you look old, and this is like, even though Charlie Wilson been out, and you're coming out in a way where you're trying to appear like a younger artist, it could be somewhat of a turn-off versus somebody like Ronald Isley, where it was established like this is Mr. Big, this is a boss from back in the day. It fit, you know what I'm saying? His solo stuff. So
all right. Real quick, I want to get my man Penny in. This dude is an accomplished actor. I wanted to bring him in. We're always chopping it up on Twitter about hip hop and everything, but I felt like it would be dope because the acting field. I want to know how you feel about that because on the outside looking in, I don't feel like, you know, age really dictates whether you're an actor or not. But I want to hear from you. You know, maybe somebody else who's like, if I called on y'all today, like, yo, I'm 43, I'm quitting my job and I'm moving to Hollywood, maybe y'all would look at me like I'm crazy. I don't know. But Penny, what do you think about down on hip hop? Do you feel that way about acting?
No, this is how it breaks down in acting. It's a little bit different. For women, it's definitely different because they definitely have age issues that they combat all the time. You know, they can only be seen for a certain age. Once they pass like 30, get less and less roles and opportunities. For us, it affects whether you can pop how you look. It doesn't necessarily mean, for men, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get in or whatever. Right. Like, my man burnt this dude killing it right now. 3, I think. You know, he's an older dude, and he was an actor when he was younger. He was then a school principal in the Bronx forever, and then went back to acting and just popping like crazy. So it's about a look. Like, you know, and for us, thankfully, we stay looking the same a lot. Now, for hip hop, It's more than just a look. I mean, I thought about this since you hit me up Tuesday. The acting thing is purely a look and connection thing. That's it. I mean, you don't have to be nice. You look on TV, man. I mean, I look on TV, and in the same way you listen to a beat, it'd be like, oh my God, what the,
Right.
you know? I look at actors and like, how did you get on this? You know, who's your agent? You know, that's basically what it comes down to. But because I grew up in this environment. I've been acting since I was a little kid in theater and stuff. But I grew up in hip hop, and I grew up in LA. So graffiti, hip hop, and gang, and that was how I came up. And looking at that perspective, and I still got homies to this day. Like my good homie is a year older than me and nicer than most people. Juice, MC Juice we came up together, but the time that he lived in LA.
Okay.
I got other homies that are 43 that are like still trying to knock on the door.
Right.
You know, we used to be in the studios together like 20 years ago, you know, and they still in the studio. And that people don't look at them the same. You're right. People don't look at them the same. People don't give you that respect. They don't, it's because it's tied into some sort of success, right? It has to be tied into some sort of success for some reason. But if you're like a country singer, you can come out and be a country singer at whatever age. And like sing about, you know, the river, you know, crying and all this bullshit. Or what? Excuse me, we can curse here, right?
You must ain't watched the show that Vegas is on.
Yeah, Vegas, that's what Vegas does. So.
Yo, I just
Wait,
had
what?
an episode of Nashville, man. I mean, I know what's good.
And it's funny that he said that because I think I do want to look at it like that because he is right. You know, acting is like I just wrote it down. So look in how you connect with people. You know what I mean? Yeah, you tell me, man. Why do you think that hip hop is looked down upon? And tell me this too, because I want to get into this too, because a lot of us are married, we have kids, you're engaged. How does Candace feel about you rapping? Because I got a lot of homeboys whose wives are like, cut that shit out. Like, come on. Like, you know, I gave you 5 years. You said 5 years after we got married, that was it. Like, but like Penny said, it's about success. She probably gave you 5 years to make it. You
Right.
know, because if you made it, then you good. We ain't got no problem with you rapping. So it's not about you only got till 43. No, it's you got till 43 to make it. So how does Candace, your fiance, feel about you rapping? Like when she sees you writing rhymes, is she like, this nigga? Like, talk to me out.
You know what's funny? She's right here. Let's ask her. Bitch. now you know she ain't like she is. But honestly speaking, like she doesn't really bother me about it because I think I hate tooting my own horn, but I think she recognizes my talent. She knows that I'm nice, and it's actually gotten somewhere, and I've gotten some actual like pub off of it. She doesn't bother me about it at all, and she enjoys my music. That's another thing. So she doesn't have an issue with it at all. At least to my knowledge, we might have a discussion about it later on tonight. But for the most part, she actually encourages me to do it, especially if it's going to be, if there's potential for me to be lucrative with it, for me to make some money for the household, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you know, you always need 2 streams of income. And if it's bringing any type of dollar amount, which it has, you know, over the last few years, this product comes out, nothing crazy, but it's at least help with the bills. Let's say that. You know what I'm saying? She won't have an issue with it. And like I said, she likes my music, and I write music about her. So,
all right. Quick pub. I feel you. Quick pub. Theo, what about you, man? You're married, kids. What does your wife feel about this? Do you feel, because like I said, I've had friends who've literally gotten divorced over hip hop. Like, wow. Literally were dating and he was a DJ, and this was how he made his money. This was his career. This was his 9 to 5. Got married, and his wife was like, boom, you know what? That DJing, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday till 4 in the morning is dead. And he was like, yo, I married you because you was cool with it. And she was like, yeah, I was cool with it when you was my boyfriend. Now you my husband. Like, responsibility. And he like, but it pays the bills. She did not care. It was just, again, I think that stigma of going out maybe with her business friends. Well, what your husband do? Oh, he a DJ. You know what I mean? And everybody else is lawyers and doctors, and even though it pays the bills, you know, so I've seen people get married and it's like, okay, sweetheart, them MC days are over. Like, no more studio, no more. You better in the studio during the daytime. You ain't hanging out, you know, till 3 in the morning and everything like that. So for Theo, how did your wife feel about that?
I think in the beginning, prior to us getting married, we had this discussion, like, you know, are you going to take me as I am? It's just that simple. Like, I'm not going to stop doing this just because I'm married and there's a time limit on how long I have to make this success, because this is a part of me. And so it's not, but after you get married, you have to also learn how to balance out that time with your family.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes I fall, you know, prey to that, like falling out of balance with it. That's when the problem comes in. It's like, if I'm not spending enough time with my wife, my family, then there's a problem.
Right.
You know, just like with anything else.
Yeah.
As long as we have those agreements intact, and that's fine.
Right. I think the crazy part is just when, like you said, it's a discussion to have about it, but when people feel like you have a passion for something. And I think that's the thing that nobody should ever try to, like, you know, put out. Like, if you have a passion to do fill in the blank, you should continue with that passion, whether it's paying. Like I heard Theo say a lot of times, writing for him is therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? So if this is a way that you can relax, if this, you know, my other side hustling is marriage coaching, so this just fell right in line with that. I've had people be like, I'm like, look, your man's upstairs making beats. Is he at strip club? Then be happy. You know, like, shut up, be happy. There's a lot of wives who would like to know where their husbands are. You know where yours is. Shut up and be happy. You know what I mean? It could be worse, you know. So, you know, I've had women actually say things like, yo, you're 43. Why are you still buying Jordans? Like, and I'm like, whoa, like, yo, you're 43 and you're still buying red bottoms. Like, you know, I'm not questioning you buying a bag. Why you questioning, you know, your man buying some sneakers? Because I think a lot of times, too, things that men like to do are sometimes looked at as childish. It's and it's a fad. Like, I actually had one couple and the wife was saying, I don't want him playing video games because that's for little kids.
Wow.
You know, this was an issue for her. And I'm like, again, if this is how your man relaxes, let the man relax, you know, because it's a whole lot. I got a whole lot of other couples out here with some horror stories on the way he relaxes, he relaxes, you know, and playing video games is the least of your worries on how your man could be relaxing and letting off stress after a long day of work. So I think that that's the thing too. And like I said, it's like you got 5 years to become successful, because here's the thing. If any of us were making 6 figures doing what we're doing, I don't think nobody has a problem with it. You know, yeah, if you're on Empire every week, I highly doubt anybody is going to be like, oh, this is still rap.
If I was on Empire, me and my lady had Sizzler every week on every week.
So again, a lot of it just comes down to, like you said, if you're successful from it, if it's bringing in money. But here's the thing: how can we stop that stigma? Because I think one of the things that Ev said that's messed up is he was like, he doesn't believe that corporations want people rapping, because think about it like this: when we're young and we're dumb, we're making the music that's out now. Mm-hmm. But as we get older, we're going to have more things and more important things to talk about and get that message out to the masses.
Right.
A lot of record labels, a lot of people don't want that message getting out. Nope. Like I was telling Vegas a while ago, yo, by the time I got to Arizona came out, I honestly thought they was going to try and kill Chuck D. Like, I literally was like, yo, I'm dead serious. Like, yo, if cats are old enough to remember, by the time I get to Arizona, the video was like premiered on NBC, and you know, it was about Arizona not doing the Martin Luther King birthday.
Certain stations wouldn't play it. Remember that?
Yeah. And I mean, this was like a heavy time, and it was like, yo, we got to shut this dude down. And now all of a sudden, all the positive, you know, pro-black, you know, 5% hip hop went out, you know, and I always say it, tragedy went from the intelligent hoodlum to tragedy Gaddafi. You know what I mean? This dude made a quick turn from the righteous dude to the drug dealer. You know, he had the song called Arrest the President. He the drug dealer, and he became the drug dealer. You know, so how do we change this stigma? Because I think I don't want people to be embarrassed to say I rap. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be embarrassed to say I make beats or I spin or I do any of those things. So how do you all think we can break that mold of stopping the stigma? Penny, what do you think?
Well, I think I don't know if you guys cover this element, because there's definitely something to say about corporations and what they do and how they try to move things. But did you guys mention the audience, fans? Now, until I moved to New York, which was 13 years ago, and I was an adult till recently, really, I don't think I really met somebody who was my age. I'm 43, like you, and listen to hip hop. Knows hip hop anecdotally, like basically. They listen a little bit in college. They listen the sprinkles in high school. They were into it. They were down with it. But for whatever reason, they went to some other shit. It wasn't. They didn't continue to buy the records throughout their whole life or whatever until this age, right? They didn't support the music in that sense, right? So they get older, found them. So basically, you're talking about the older we get as a hip hop fan. If you look at the bass and everyone else, the older they get, the less and less it is, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, like people always make fun of us, old heads, old. I mean, we stick out on Twitter, on whatever, in these conversations, right? Our consensus of what we think is good and what we think is positive and what we think is possible and should be still okay to everybody else, I think it's a minority here, right? Because everyone else sees the Drakes and the little whatevers and whoever you want to put in there, the skinny jean or whoever next, okay? And I like some new shit. Don't get me like I'm not one of those people. I love Kendrick, for a long time now, but and a lot of other shit, but I think that has a lot to do with it. I think the audience is fickle when they get to this age. And in the same way, if they're not a supportive buying this shit, I don't know if they'll be a supportive with self. Right. So it's hard to be successful. So your own people are not going to appreciate you or recognize that you do have an opportunity. It just becomes harder and harder as you get older. And I think some of it has to do with the audience and how some of it is just fickle as they get older. They just go to other shit or whatever is comfortable or whatever. Maybe it's just people that didn't grow up in hip hop and I don't know whatever. Because since I heard hip hop, I never listened to anything else, and I was really ignorant of other musics for a long time. Right? I mean, I was 82, first record for me, and I was just. And I didn't listen to other shit. And as I got older, I said, whoa, shit, I got to fill in some gaps. Right. And I think these people are the switch, the opposite. All this Led Zeppelin and all this shit that I don't really know very well. But then when hip-hop was hot for them a little bit when they were young and it was a cool thing, it was a fade to them.
Right.
And it just faded out.
Right.
Because it wasn't a part of what they did. I mean, I don't think that can happen to someone who was a graffiti writer. I don't think that can happen to somebody who was a DJ. I don't think that can happen to somebody who was an MC, who beatboxed, who breakdanced, anything. Those people, anybody, you tell me, anybody that has ever done that, they thing in them, you know what I mean? Right. And they still listen to hip hop and support her.
Right. And it's funny you said that because you brought up a good point about the people who listen to it, because growing up in Philly, and I'm sure same story with everybody else up here, it's kind of like I had friends who liked hip hop, but they didn't live hip hop. You know what I mean? And there's a big difference between the two. You know what I mean? I even had one of my homeboys who grew up with me get my car once, and he was like, yo, you still listen to hip hop? You know? So it's I think it's not just the seeing thing of it, but it's almost just like, and keep in mind, I call them the housewives of Upper Marlboro. I got some homegirls, because let's keep it 100. You got people who graduate from college and they get a little more bougie. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have a big house, I have a car, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm whatever. I don't listen to hip hop anymore. That was my young days. But it just, and Penny saying that just brought that full circle to it's not just the people doing it, but it's even the people who listen to hip hop. I got people who are embarrassed to even say they still listen to hip hop, and I don't get that. Yeah, what do you think, bro? How? Because I know we went off top, but how do you think we could change it, or can it be changed?
Oh, my bad. Did I do that?
No. You brought up a dope point. Not at all. But how do we change it so that that hip hop isn't a phase? How do we get people that are our age? Because what Penny said made perfect sense. Because I know a lot of people at Morgan who listen to hip hop, but they didn't love it. Like you said, I grew up breakdancing. I grew up trying to rhyme. I grew up doing those things. And like he said, if you grew up doing those things, I don't think you can stop. I mean, I know it's embarrassing. I don't know if y'all seen the video of me trying to still do the worm. Like,
yeah. I mean, man.
So, you know, like he said, like Penny just said it. If you grew up doing this stuff, I looked like a fool at 43 trying to do the worm, and I had a headache afterwards. But that shit is still in me. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, they was like, can you still break? I'm like, hell yeah, I can still. What do you mean, can I? Like, yeah, I got fibromyalgia, but yeah, no, man, I can still break. So, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Anybody who didn't see the video, just go to my timeline.
Oh man.
It was bad.
Y'all go ahead and check that out, for real.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got up.
Worse, but I'm still out there. And I'd say everybody who's dissing me, come battle. Come to my crib. Because everybody's laughing. It's a big joke. Come battle me. Because that's what hip-hop was about. So let's see what y'all other 45-year-olds got who want to battle and make fun of me. But yeah, what do you think, man? Can we get it back? Can we get people?
You know what it is? Because here's how I feel. I feel like some people that fell off with rap, you know, that are in their 30s and 40s right now, just don't have anything that they can identify with. You know, when they started listening to rap, they were listening, you know, to the Curtis Blows and the Furious Fours and, you know, African Bambaataa. And now, as it's evolved, you know, they don't have anything that identifies with them. You understand what I'm saying? In that age group. I remember when I was talking to you one day, right before I put out Hump Day, you were like, yo, you're like an adult contemporary rapper. And there's not enough of that in the world. So if you look at people like in the R&B, like people like Eric Roberson and Jesse Boykins and you know these like that whole Dwelling, that whole like what's the guy?
Neo Soul,
like that whole crew, right? Like all of them really didn't pop as far as, and I'm not saying that they're necessarily like world famous, but they didn't really start to pop until they hit their 30s. You know what I mean? Because their music was gravitating towards a certain demographic, a certain age group. Yeah. So like, and they also pushed it with their shows to show them what kind of music they're making, and then that eventually got their buzz up and allowed them to continue to make music and continue to get shows down the line. I don't think people give hip hop that type of a chance. Like for instance, the place here in Harlem called The Shrine, that, you know, they do live performances and stuff like that. I called them last year. I'd done a show there before. I did a show there like 2014, and I tried to do another show in 2015, and they said, "Oh, we don't do hip hop anymore." But I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. What do you mean you don't put on hip hop shows anymore? We just don't do it anymore. I was like, sir, I get it. I'm trying to explain to them because I really like the venue. It's in close proximity to a lot of people that will come to my show. Tonight prices are good. I would have a nice little turnout. They're like, no, we just don't do hip hop anymore. But I'm like, I don't do it like a typical type of hip hop. Like, I've done a show here before. I can send you the music to show you what type of music I'll be doing, because it's not necessarily that rah and the trap bass. They're like, no, we just don't do hip hop. So the stigma's been placed upon it, and it's just tough to get out of. But if people would just allow themselves to listen to something older and try to find like a type of artist that kind of gravitates to them, which kind of speaks to them, I think, you know, we'd be better off. But it's just tough to find. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a really tough, you know, it's tough to find people who are rapping about something that you are connected to when you're after 35, because they don't see it. It's not in the limelight. You know, when they're busy with kids, busy with work, it's tough for them to try to search and go find these things. They're out there, but, you know, hopefully, you know, as the genre evolves and gets older, we'll be able to like kind of like subgenre hip hop and make an adult contemporary hip hop with people like Fonte and people like Little Brother and people like myself, shameless plug. You know, just try to put out this type of music that, you know, gravitates towards a certain age group that really isn't being not necessarily exploited right now. So.
Right, and that's another dope point. That's why I love having dope people up here, because y'all keep bringing out good points. When music doesn't speak to people, like I've had a lot of people who went to Morgan with us, Vague, and you know, grew up on a Tribe Called Quest, and De La Soul. And, you know, you hear stories like, oh, you know, Tribe Called Quest saved my life and this and that and all this stuff. And yeah, I was right. There's not a lot of music out here for somebody who's married with 2 kids to really relate to anymore. You know, and, you know, we got to find a way to, I guess, like you said, there's the fine, you know, it's such a small, you know, limitation of what you can find. You know, maybe now Jay doing 444, now maybe more people will be like, oh, it's now cool to talk about being good, to talk about credit, and it's good to talk about, you know, after Jay do it, now everybody can do it. It's like a game of taboo with Jay-Z. So Jay said, the word. Now everybody else could be like, hey, man, yo, Menage a Trois is whack, man. I've been living the wrong way. You know, now it's like Jay said, like, hey, man, let's be committed to our wives, man. You know, when you got a soulmate, why would you want 2 women at once? So maybe we'll get more of that. Theo, do you think there's a way that we can stop this and get it back? What is your plight on trying to get people to not look down upon hip-hop?
I think it's kind of pretty simple, I guess. Stop. Like, for one thing, I could wish if I was in the same room as the Jay-Z's and the Rick Rosses and all of them, one thing I probably would say to them: stop trying to appeal to 25-year-olds and 16-year-olds, because it puts us in a situation where it's like, damn, we can't make music to appeal to people our age. We got to keep trying to keep up with the trap. Because, not saying that that's what all of us have done, but that's what it puts us in a predicament for the majority of us to keep doing, try to keep following that same old mode. And, you know, you believe that lie that it's a young man's game. No, it's not a young man's game. I got more years in front of me than I have behind me. So why the hell am I going to keep on trying to appeal to what's behind me? That's how I look at it.
Right. And I mean, I think the hard part too is, I think it's like what Penny said about the audience. You know, will our age group support our music? And I think for a lot of execs at labels, it's like, well, the people who are going to be buying the music or buying the singles off iTunes are going to be these young kids. Yep. So we got to keep trying to push those young kids. And I don't think a lot of people really understand who their audience is anymore. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the hard part. You know, bad R&B example, JR, you may know what I'm talking about. Toni Braxton, love Toni to death. If I could produce any R&B, you know, singers, female album, it would be Toni Braxton. I think she's incredible. But she doesn't know her audience. And what I mean by that is that when Toni first came out, we talking about Love Should Have Brought You Home. We're talking Boomerang. We're talking 91. Those girls were seniors in high school and college and everything. But now those women are now mothers. So when they see Toni half naked in her videos and their husband staring at her, you shooting your audience in the foot because they don't want to support you.
Because yeah, to your audience.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but if you don't know your audience, I'm like, yo, your sons have, I forgot, JR, what does his son have?
Autism.
Autism. Like, yo, make a song about autism. Like, Bilal has a song about his son having autism. Like, if you could talk about being married and the struggles of that, and more of a Kindred and the Family Soul type vibe. Like, Kindred has their audience because they speak to the young married couples who are trying to make it. You know, I know so many married couples who, if Kindred's at a show, they are there. Like, Kindred knows their audience. I don't think a lot of us know our audience. Rack, what do you think could be done? Can it be done? Can we get people to stop looking down at hip hop at a certain age?
I mean, we can, but it's like Finger said, man. Those guys have to make music that is in their age group. When you keep trying to appease to younger crowds, that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get those parents that are going and buying albums. I mean, they have the potential to do it, but from a financial standpoint, will they do it? You know, that's what it all boils down to. The radio pushes music to kids. There's no the stations that you have out for us, they call them old school stations or contemporary hip hop stations, but nobody listens to those stations. It could be done, but it's got to be done on a mass scale. You got to have more artists do those things. Those artists got to actually put out music and not be afraid to be called old school or care about the projects and not try to reach back and do something that sounds new. You know, you can't do a new project. Do what you really want to do. You know, don't do something just based off the fact you want it to be popular. Do something that's in your age bracket and see what happens. It can happen, but they just can't be scared of the negative that may come with it.
All right, no doubt. Yo, dope show. Thank y'all for sitting in, chiming in about it. Because
I got one point.
Yo, what you got, Vance?
that I just wanted to add to the radio aspect. I think that's part of the issue when it comes to, at least around our generation, is the fact that, you know, some of us were the hip hop, and some of us turned to radio to tell us what was good, what was new, what was dope.
Yep.
And now that we're older and those stations we used to listen to are targeting the same demographic, but we just don't fall into that category.
Yep.
Some of us don't know where to look. And when we go to the stations that are, you know, 35 and older or whatever, it's almost as if they still play the same music they did when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't converted to, you know, for example, like a station like WBLS in New York. It's not like, it doesn't sound like Hot 97 back in the 90s. It still sounds like it was when my brother was listening to it, or it sounds like it's for his age bracket. He's 10 years older than me. And I think that plays a role because some of us who are from that generation feel like, well, again, like y'all said, we don't identify with what's on Hot 97 or Power 105. Then when I try to go to the 30 and over station, it feels like put in there, but it's not really catering to my age bracket and what we grew up on as our music, the music of our youth. But then they just go to, you know, they listen to the old stuff, or they just get involved with life and don't really give a shit about what's new in hip hop and stuff like that. So I think the radio plays a big role, not only with the fans who suffer from shit like that, but even the artists like a Jay-Z and Rick Ross or whatever, because they also don't have a destination. So they got to decide between the two. Am I going to start making older rap for BLS, which they won't play anyway, or I'm going to make this new shit for this younger generation where I'm almost guaranteed to get spins. So, yeah.
Big said it, because the older artists could come out with a new album just sounding however they want it to sound, but it won't get no radio spins because it doesn't fit none of those formats. It doesn't fit the format for old school, and it don't fit the format for the new shit. So it gets no radio play. And then you got situations where like you know, the podcast that we do, that's the only airplay that they get. And if the podcast is not on the situation where they got an app or it's popular, it's not going to be heard. It's one of those word of mouth things. So it's like he said, they damned if they do, and they damned if they don't. So they get in a situation where they go and they say, well, fuck it. I'm just going to go and get somebody with some trap shit, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to roll the dice. And they end up shooting themselves in the foot. Everybody turns their back on them because it's like, you know what? I thought you was my man, and I see what you're doing. And it happens all the time. And it doesn't have to happen, but us as the middleman, me as a DJ, I got to make sure that I support those albums. You know, I got to make sure that I play that stuff. If I don't, then what am I doing? What am I doing it for?
Right. And it's funny, I was not trying to end, but Vegas brought up a good point. Older artists still making music. Because here's the thing. I do want folk to stop if y'all can't do it no more. You know,
I agree.
Because here's the thing. Like, and again, I haven't heard some of these projects, so I don't know, but I won't hold you. If I hear Kool G Rap got a new album coming out, I'm not really that excited for it. You know what I'm saying?
But why?
Kool G Rap. Right. To answer your question, why?
And you know me. I don't really get that.
I heard that album.
Right.
But I would listen to it just to see what it sounds like.
Now, here's the thing. I just wouldn't need a cosign from somebody. Because that's kind of how I listen to music. And it may be bad, but it's so much music. I got this from Nas. Nas said once in the interview, if it's dope enough, it'll get them. If something is dope enough, all the people on Twitter, one of y'all, they will talk about it on his podcast, you'll hit me. If it's dope enough, somebody, I keep too many hip-hop people around me for something.
That's true.
So rap for me, it would just be about, you know, do I feel like hearing, you know, the Don? Do I feel like hearing gangster rap? You know, who did the beats? You know me. It's always
about the beats.
Album, I'm all in. But if Rakim comes out with a new album, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not running to it. You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna have to co-sign. And I guess that is a thing too, that all MCs don't get better with time. Some do, some don't. You know what I mean? I'll give you a great example. Somebody who I felt from the 90s who could still bring it was Sean P. I felt like Sean P.
Yeah.
Still bring it. And I was not even this new album that just dropped, Imperious Rex. It's like, yo, this dude sound like he's still got
Never lost a step.
Got that passion, never lost a step. It's almost like playing ball. Like certain times, maybe you do need to retire. You know what I mean? Like here comes the time where maybe them lyrics ain't matching up the way they used to. You know, I
But that Sean P, you know, the dude is not only nice. I think he did something that maybe only Doom did. It's to really flipping his identity a little and the whole flow. And he created something and rap about it. We could talk about it another time. Y'all listen to it and let me know. I think this little pause that he always does before he's mastered that shit. Yeah. Nobody's got that rhythm pause like P. And you're right, this album is bananas. And then I want to just tie one thing up to one of the last two comments that were made because they're really spot on. This theme of youth, right? How everything is youth, only youth, and this that gift and curse of hip hop. It came from. This is when we were introduced to where it came from, anyways, in the 60s and 70s. But at that place, reason these different constructs hold it at this place and not let it mature. Some of it has to do with the fact that it's 40 years old, right?
Right.
Was a problem older. I think a lot of it, some of it is self-imposed, like the real shit that we do, right? Like nobody really checked that Johnny Cash really killed somebody when he wrote about that shit. But for us, if you write about, you know, murdering or carrying packs, you better have done that shit or, man, come on, seriously. So think about it. I mean, some of that shit is we do it on ourselves, like what's real, what's authentic, because it's complex. Because I think it comes from a complex place. And that's why, unfortunately, I don't even really have a suggestion, bro.
Right.
Tell somebody, because it comes down to an individual and his individual community to hopefully support him to do that. You know, and I try to do that. I got, like I said, one cat, I never have to tell him anything. He just raps all the time. But they're not successful. They never broke in.
Right.
Grimy and you know?
Yeah, and it's kind of like what you were saying, Rec, with G-Rap. Like, with Sean P, I don't care who produced the album, because I know P's still going to bring it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so, but I think when I hear G-Rap, Rakim, I'm kind of like, you know, because, again, there's so much music, you know, and you know me, I want to give it time. So I'm going to really try to sit with this album I'm going to probably only be listening to Imperious Rex for the next 2 weeks. You know, things will fall here and there, but I want to keep stuff in rotation. So that's what it is. But, yo, prayerfully watching the show, Vague, got a new verse out. We trying to work on a project. My man Woods. It might be coming. Hopefully Woods is writing, so we can get that popping. Yeah, I already know he rapping. Crazy Fingers and me working on joints. Give them all your information. Where can they get at you? Where can they get the mixtapes and everything?
Yeah, man. It's been I appreciate everybody, man. It's been a little setback with school and, you know, me being in the military, but I will have some new episodes up this week coming, man. So the podcast, the foundation, man, you can catch that on SoundCloud at JREC. I'll have something up probably by Monday or Tuesday. And then Twitter is at DJREC1. IG is Worldwide Rec1. Like I said, man, just appreciate everybody sticking with me, man. It's been a long 6 months, man.
Yo, congratulations on that graduation.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. It's
All right.
long time coming, man. I had to bang that out. So now it's back to this. You see, I'm trying to get the studio back and right.
I no doubt. JR, give them all your stuff, bro.
Music Soul Nick on Twitter, Instagram, Junior's World of Soul, R&B Kid here, and that's about it.
Now,
the Nick Hat Flipper.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up, bro, but you know I got to talk about your homegirl, Brandy.
Please.
The other day, man.
Please, I'm too tired, bro.
I'm just letting you know we're going to do a show about Brandy.
Please, we can. I need to get her some damn pills. Something wrong with her.
Yo, I seen something like, yo, if you say Whitney Houston 3 times in the mirror, Brandy will appear, man.
She would.
We got to get old girl in check. Crazy Fingers Steel. Give them all the information, bro. All the albums that you got out right now, where they can get at you and support you.
Yeah, you pretty much download everything from kfbeats.com. I have my latest beat tape I dropped. It's a free beat tape, Summer 91, a free beat tape on kfbeats.com. Follow me on Twitter. Real Crazy Fingers on Twitter and Instagram. It's Crazy Fingers. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, prayerfully, we got a project. I'm trying to get it out by September. Yeah. Prayerfully,
we got a project coming, and it's fun. B-sides.
Yeah, B-sides. No doubt, no doubt. Penny, give them all your information. Where can they get at you? Shows you've been on, everything.
I don't have that much info, man. I mean, Penny Butter. That's a Twitter. That's Penny with the underscore. I just did my episode on that series Nashville came up, and that came up a couple of weeks ago. But I don't know anybody really that I know, because who the fuck really listen to country music? I mean, no. I'm seriously, I'm sorry. If you do, I apologize. But
here's the funny thing: my wife loves Nashville.
Oh shit! So she saw me a couple of weeks ago.
She loves it. She loves Nashville. So yeah, folks do watch it, man.
Yo, and I also did I shot a movie with Common. I think I told you a little bit about it.
Right.
Common and Sarah Jessica Parker, and that shit will be out. I don't know, this year. Best day of my life.
What's the name?
Looking in here.
What's the name of
the movie? Is called Best Day of My Life.
Best Day of My Life. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's
I have a little role in there. Yeah.
All right, what's up, man? Vegas, give them all the information, bro.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Vegas World INC. You can check out my podcast on SoundCloud.com/Hip Hop Now Podcast. It's called Hip Hop Now Podcast. News, reviews, rumors, and perspective. All
right, no doubt. And yeah, what's all your stuff again?
I think I was just playing. I just went the Crazy Fingers. What's that playing? I wanted to go to right after the site and just start playing music. I wasn't sure what was going on my phone. My info is as is Yow Music, YAW Music. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, same thing. I'm dropping probably a couple weeks. I'm with killing them later on this year. And we're rolling.
All right, that's what it is. Y'all already know what it is with me, Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. I'll check y'all next week, man.
Peace.